Good morning, everyone. How are you all doing? I hope all is well, and welcome to another FPL video. So, we have an international break coming up, no Premier League football this weekend. So, I'm gonna try my best to keep today's video shorter, mostly because I don't want to go too in depth into transfer plans and looking at potential players and teams to target and all of that, because we don't really know what's going to happen during the international break. There are loads of games coming up, and I don't want to give you guys a bunch of information that might become irrelevant in a week or so when the time for Game Week 5 comes. So instead, today we are just gonna talk general strategy. I'm gonna show you guys my team, and we're gonna talk about the problems in my team and what transfers I'm planning to make in general in the upcoming game weeks, when I'm planning to use my wildcard and all of that. So yeah, that's the plan for today. Thanks everyone for watching, I appreciate it. Also, a couple of more things. Like I said, it's the international break, so a lot of people will be using their wildcard for Game Week 5. I myself am tempted to do it as well. So definitely one of the next videos before the Game Week 5 deadline is going to be a wildcard team. I'm gonna look in the next couple of days, look for potentially interesting players for a wildcard teams to target, players from the most informed players and all of that. So we're gonna have a wildcard team video coming up on the channel as well. And also I'm planning to start making some videos about Champions League fantasy football. As you all probably know, the Champions League is very close to starting as well. I believe it starts the week after Game Week 5. So I play the Champions League fantasy football every week, but not I don't go as in that depth and as the Premier League fantasy game. But I'm still going to play it, and I would suggest you guys should do it as well. It's an interesting game. I'm gonna explain the rules to the people that haven't played it. It has a little bit of a different rule set than the Premier League, and it's an interesting game. So I would say I'm going to try it, and I would suggest you should try it as well with me. So yeah, thanks everyone. Now let's start with today's video. So Game Week 4 was a high scoring game week for most people probably, most of the teams. The reason for that is the fact that Haaland managed to get a huge return, and he was captained by almost everyone, at least all the active teams in the game at the moment. So that's why the overall average for Game Week 4 is 72 points. My team got a little over that, so 78 points, a little above the average. It's a decent gaming for me. It's another green arrow. At the moment, that's all that I can ask for. The overall rank is still irrelevant in my opinion. Around game week 8-9 is the time when the overall rank starts becoming more and more important and worth checking. So yeah, like I said, 78 points at the end of this game week. Most of my returns are coming from the attacking players. Not so many returns in the defense. This definitely was not a game week for clean sheets. I believe only two teams from 20 managed to keep a clean sheet. So if I'm not mistaken, only Liverpool and Nottingham Forest managed to get clean sheets in this game week. So definitely not a game week for defensive options. From my 5 defensive players in Game Week 4, only Udogie managed to get a attack in return. He got an assist. I'm very happy with that. And also the assist was for James Maddison, who scored a goal. So both of these my Tottenham players getting a return, but realistically I was hoping for a lot more because, as you all know, Spurs scored 5 goals. So I was hoping to get at least 2 returns from James Madison, in which case he would have gotten a couple of bonus points as well, because he tends to be a bonus points magnet, and it would have been a bigger score from him, but unfortunately he ended up with only 1 return, and Son Heung-min was actually the player who got 3 returns, so he scored a hat-trick in that game. The important thing to note is the fact that he played as a false 9 basically, or a proper 9. He played as the striker because Richarlison was dropped from the team, and Son Heung-min played as a striker with Solomon coming in the team from the left wing in his place. And the reason this worked is because Burnley, the way they set up, because they were at home, they set up very attacking, and they left spaces in behind their defenders, which for a player that's as fast as Son worked perfectly. So it was the perfect game for him to get that hat trick, and now he becomes a good option in the future if he continues to play as the striker, which I think he will. Other than the Spurs game, a couple of returns in my midfield as well. Bukayo Saka with a late assist in the game against Man United. Mbeumo also another a late goal. It was in the 90th minute, I believe, as well. So I'm happy that I got him in my team as well. Mohamed Salah only 8 points in this game. Honestly, disappointing result from him for me. He's had 4 returns now, so no blank. But anyone that watched this game would probably know that Mohamed Salah could have easily matched actually Haaland with points this week. He should have had probably around 20 points as well. 3 clear-cut chances created from Mohamed Salah to Darwin Núñez. It was basically, the chances were so good that it was Núñez against the goalkeeper from a couple of meters, and he managed to miss all 3 of those. I believe he hit the post once, he hit or twice actually, and he missed the goal as well. So if it was any other striker up front other than the troll Darwin Núñez, Salah would have had 3 assists in this game and a goal maybe as well, so he would have ended up on a huge points tally. But unfortunately, his partner, striking partner at the moment, is the troll Darwin Núñez. So honestly, it made me quite angry watching this game. And if Salah didn't end up scoring that goal at the end, I would have probably already transferred him out. I would have probably done a rage Salah to Son transfer. But he did end up getting a return at the end, but very disappointing that he only got 1. And yeah, my only attacking option this week that didn't get any return is Ollie Watkins. I'm gonna give Ollie Watkins one more game week, so I'm gonna give him game week 5. He has a nice fixture in game week 5, Crystal Palace at home. Aston Villa do play good at home, so he's had 3 returns in the 3 first game weeks, but low scoring returns, only 5 points each, and now he blanked in game week 4. He's off penalties as well, so he's not scoring goals this season, at least not until now. So I'm gonna give him game week 5 to see how he does, and then if he blanks in game week 5 as well, he's most likely going to leave my team because he's an easy downgrade to some other strikers who could have who could provide a lot more points for me. So we'll see what happens with him in Game Week 5. So here is how my team looks for the Game Week 5 game week. So in the goalkeeper spot, first Onana goes on the bench. He plays Brighton, who tend to score in mostly every game at least one goal, and Man United are not doing so well defensively at the moment. So for this game week, I'm most likely going to bench him, and I'm going to play Turner, even though I don't expect Turner to get any returns as well. I have played him once this season, and it was a home fixture against Sheffield United, and I thought he would get a clean sheet quite easily, but it didn't happen, and I have a feeling it won't happen this week as well. But I'm still gonna play him because it makes sense. It's the correct move to play. Onana, last week I was very tempted to sell him, but now that he's still in my team, that I did not sell him, now I have to keep him. It's too late to sell because the fixtures coming up are very good for him. After this game week, he has a run of solid fixtures in which I expect him to start getting some clean sheets and some returns. So he's gonna stay in my team long term. Let me just show the fixtures. So as you can see here, Game Week 6, Game Week 7, Game Week 9, Game Week 11, 12, these are all game weeks in which I expect him to get some returns, hopefully some clean sheets and some bonus points. So at this point I have to keep this player. He's going to be on my bench for this game week, and then in my starting 11 from next week. I'm very happy with my Spurs assets at the moment. I'm not looking to sell them. Definitely not. Both of them have been very good. Also, Chilwell, he has been a little bit disappointing, but he still plays so attacking. He gets into so many dangerous spots. So I still have to keep him. Plus, Chelsea have a couple of decent fixtures left in the next couple of game weeks. After which, if he continues to blank, if Chelsea continue to concede goals every week, I will sell him. But for the moment, he's definitely a keep. Estupinian, another player that I'm going to keep. He has a tough fixture this week, but after that, the Brighton's fixtures get better. And like I said, Estupinian is a super attacking, a player that always seems dangerous and always seems close to scoring a goal. So I'm not worried about Estupinian at the moment. So like I said, I'm going to keep him. I'm going to play him in game week 6 and 7. Then we'll see about game week 8 and 9. If I wildcard during this time, I might end up transferring him out for these 2 game weeks. If I don't wildcard, then he will stay in my team, because after that he has a nice run of fixtures from game week 10 to game week 13. In these 4 game weeks, I would have to have him and 1 or 2 more Brighton players, at least that's the plan. So he's a hold for me for the moment. In the midfield, I'm mostly happy with the midfielders that I have at the moment. Salah, I'm still going to keep and hope that Darwin Núñez loses his place, and that maybe Diogo Jota or Cody Gakpo starts playing in his place. But for the moment, I don't have a reason to sell Salah because he's had a return in every game week so far, and his fixtures are decent. Saka also obviously stays in the team. Everton away, a great fixture. And Mbeumo, another player that I'm happy to keep in my team. I already talked about Oli Watkins, so we come to the last player in my team, Joao Pedro, the most problematic player at the moment for me. So I don't like this player. It was a mistake getting him. So last week he did start for Brighton, and he played in their game in which they won 3 goals to 1 against Newcastle, but he had no involvement into the goals whatsoever. Uh, he's struggling a bit. I think at the moment the only way for him to get a return is if he scores a penalty. Other than that, from open play, he's not too dangerous. He misses a lot of chances. He's kinda rush on the ball, and as soon as Danny Welbeck comes back in the team, he's going to lose his place again, most likely. And plus, Brighton have a couple of other options as well, so he's definitely a sell. But the problem is that I can't really sell him because of his price range. So let's go to the transfer tab, and I have 0.5 in the bank. So if I transfer him out directly, it only leaves me with, let me just see if his price is 5.5 or has he dropped. Wow, this loads up so slow. Okay, he's still 5.5, but he's most likely going to drop his price at some point to 5.4 or even 5.3. So if I remove him at the moment for 6 million, there are potentially some interesting attacking options, but not that many. One player that I really like for this game week, and at first uh, when I thought about it, it made a lot of sense, and I was very excited to do the transfer. Is Avoni from Nottingham Forest, but the problem is that he was 6.5. I didn't realize he was at that price. I thought he would be at 6 million. So unfortunately, I can't afford this player. Now, if we go to the players that are valued up to 6 million, so Ferguson from Brighton is the obvious option to transfer in instead of Joao Pedro. Now, the problem with this is that long term, Danny Welbeck, when he comes back in the team, I mean, I'm not 100% sure, it's hard to tell, but I would say that Danny Welbeck is probably the main striker for Brighton. But once again, I'm not sure about that. Maybe short term, this is a decent move, and maybe a move that I would look to make in this game week, but I will probably get priced out of this move during the international break. Also, Beto could be an interesting option for Everton as well. He's their new striker, uh, and they play Arsenal this week, so that's a problem. After that, they have decent fixtures, so not a lot of options in this price range. That's a problem for me. Other than Ferguson, I don't really see any other uh, interesting option. So instead, my plan at the moment is so I'm trying to remove Joao Pedro from my starting 11, and the way I might do that is I might bench him for this game week, and then I would probably look to add one more expensive defensive player in the team. So if I remove one of the 4 million defenders, either Cabore or Bulldog, if I remove one of these players, I have 4.5 in the bank, so I would be looking to get a 4.5 defender from some team that has been decent defensively and has a nice run of fixtures. In which case, I could play that defender and I could bench Joao Pedro. That's my plan at the moment, to uh, remove him from my starting 11. Now the question is who that player would be. So, a couple of interesting teams. Uh, if we play the fixtures, Fulham they play Luton at or do they play? Yes, they play Luton at home this week, so they have the obvious fixture for a clean sheet and some potentially some attacking returns from a defender as well. So they are a team to keep an eye on, but the problem is, like I said, I don't rate Fulham long term. So I would only do this move if I plan to wildcard very fast. Other than that, I'm looking at an Aston Villa defender potentially. So if you look at Aston Villa, they have a home fixture this week against Crystal Palace, I believe, and after that they have two. After that they play Chelsea away, who Chelsea struggle to score, so they could potentially keep a clean sheet in that game as well. Then Brighton will be tough, but after that there is a, a lot of easy fixtures from game week 8 until game week 14. So this is why I'm looking at bringing an Aston Villa uh, player in my team. Now the player I would like to get is Matty Cash, obviously, but unfortunately I can't get Matty Cash. He's 4.6, might even be 4.7. So let me see what's his price. So unfortunately I can't afford. Yes, he's 4.6, so I can't afford him. Instead, I'm looking at Luka Dean would be my second option, but the problem is that Alex Moreno should be back in the team very shortly. And if he is back in the team, yeah, expected back 16th of September, so he's most likely going to be starting games, maybe not right away, but very soon in the Luka Dean spot. So that's why Luka Dean is not a long-term option, unfortunately, but I do like this player. So that leaves me with one of the central defensive players. So if I do end up getting an Aston Villa defender, it would have to be either Konza or Pau Torres. But I have to keep in mind that Lenglet, their new signing from Barcelona, is in the team as well, so he might start over one of these players. So as it stands, I would say that Pau Torres would be my choice because I know that Unai Emery bought this player, and I know that if he bought him, he likes this player and he plays to start him most games. So I would not expect him to get benched anytime soon. So this is probably the player I would go for if from the Aston Villa defense. And yeah, this is my transfer plan for the moment for Game Week 5. Let's see if we get any injuries during the international games, and we'll talk more in depth about transfers and wildcard and all of that after a couple of international games. So enjoy the break, everyone. Thanks for watching, and I will see you at the next video. Goodbye.